Well, welcome everyone. This is Benet Colbert, and you're listening to Fyre Wimmen. This afternoon, we are sitting with a special ed guru here in Texas, and a very special person to me. And I just want to thank you for being on the podcast, and welcome to Fyre Wimmen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, there have been so many things in the news lately with the administration change about the education programs, the federal education programs. Locally in Texas, we're talking a lot of topics talking about vouchers. But what I want to do first is just talk about who you are and what got you into this. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do for a living.
Okay. Well, this is my 15th year teaching.
Congratulations.
My first year, I taught first grade. And then I taught special ed resource for 4 years. And this is my 10th year in early childhood special education with ages 3 to 6-year-olds.
Wow.
With a range of disabilities from autism to epilepsy, other health impairments, developmental delays, you name it.
Well, now, when you went to school, did you know you were going to get your degree in education, and did you know you're going to focus on special ed?
So when I first started off going to school, my plan was to be a labor and delivery nurse.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yep. I started from the bottom, and I went and got my certified nurse's aide, and I worked in a nursing home for a few months in the night shift. But my aunt was sick at the time with cancer, her third time with cancer. And it finally, the last time she got cancer, it ate up her body. And I was watching them clean her wound, and she was cut up from basically from her chest down past her belly button because she had an infection in there. And so me wanting to be a nurse, I was all in it and watching them. And I ended up passing out, hitting my head. And when I woke up, I was in her hospital bed and she was sitting in her chair. So that plan changed to being a nurse.
So was it just like the whole, like, are you one of those people that has like the blood thing where they pass out at needles or pass out at blood?
No,
or you
I
just
think
were like,
was because it was somebody close to me.
oh,
that's what bothered me.
And it just really got to you?
Yeah. Because you can pee on me, you can poop on me, you can throw up on me. I don't do anything. I do anything but teeth. I cannot stand teeth. I do not do teeth.
I can't do feet.
I don't pull teeth.
So
it grosses me out.
Well, and also you're a mom of 4 kids.
Yes.
So, I'm sure since that time you've probably built a pretty good tolerance for gross things.
Yes.
And I only have one. It's, he's a boy. He's a teenager now, so I've built up a pretty good tolerance. So I feel you, So when you got when you were in school, what made you change your mind did you change to education? Or?
I did. I changed to education. I worked in a daycare the entire time I was going through school. And I've always enjoyed working with kids, and everybody has said, you're so good at with kids, you need to become a teacher. Well, so I went the education route. So my degree is in early childhood through 4th grade. With the minor in special ed, EC, early childhood special education, all the way up through 12th grade. So wow. I can teach general ed up through 4th grade, and then I can teach special ed all the way up through 12th grade in high school.
So you came out of the gate with that special ed credential and with that training.
Yes. And wow. Then I had to, probably about my 5th or 6th year of teaching, I had to go back and get my ESL certification because the state of Texas was requiring our reading teachers to have that certification.
Yeah. Yeah. What has been the thing that has really inspired you over the years? And I'm asking this with a caveat to keep going. And the reason I am asking with the caveat is I've seen the special ed system from a parent's side. So I've seen that system in Texas from a parent's point of view with a child with special needs and learning disabilities. So hearing your perspective is, first of all, amazing to me, and thank you for agreeing to sit with me and talk about this today. But I know there's got to be something that keeps you going, and something special, whether it be a memory or something just about the mission that you're on as a teacher of children with disabilities and with special needs. What is that thing that keeps you going?
So my motto, ever since I've been a teacher, is that every child can learn, no matter what disability they have. Every child is capable of learning. You just have to find a way to get them what works for them to learn.
Yeah.
I've had kids who were almost practically in a vegetable state in a wheelchair and couldn't do anything. And we were having to do everything for her to participate, clapping her hands. And the way she participated or getting to know her answers was using her eyes as tracking.
Oh, wow.
Or if she smiled or if she cried, she was upset or happy. I've also had kids where she was born without any arms and she only had feet. So we taught her how to use her toes and feet to write.
Yeah. So it's just keep swimming.
Yes.
And
keep swimming, and you have to be the voice for them, because unfortunately the majority of their parents are not, and they look at me as a babysitter. And then I have parents who are really great and want the best for their kids and always ask for advice.
So you're starting out with a lot of life skills, and based on what you and I have talked about in the past and some stories that you've shared, is that there's a lot of those kids that come to you without even having started any life skills from their caregiver or the parents' side.
Yes.
So you're stepping in and almost being a parent.
Correct. So in the state of Texas, we have a program, Early Childhood Special Education, which I am. And if a student qualifies, they can start as early as on their 3rd birthday.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, a lot of those 3-year-olds, one, haven't been given the skills or taught the skills. And so when they come in to me, the diagnosticians who have tested them are like, oh, well, they can't do this and they can't do that, or they don't know how to do this, or they're feral and they just climb up the door frames. And so I'm having to teach these kids how to wash their hands, how to brush their teeth, how to do simple things as cleaning up after themselves, putting things in the trash can, picking up toys, even potty training them.
Wow. Huh. So of all the kids that you get, I know you said earlier that, there's a range of disabilities with these kids. How many of them, like a percentage, like half of them or 90% of them or 25% of them come to you with nothing, with you've got to pretty much get them up to speed?
I would say about 80%.
Wow. What do you think what that's from? What's it due to? The parents or
parents,
the system not knowing resources?
Parents not knowing resources, parents not knowing how to ask for help or what questions to ask or where to look.
Yeah.
Especially when we have these ARDs, admissions, review, and dismissal meetings. We go in there and we're talking all this education lingo, and parents are sitting there not knowing what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, I've been there.
And they're afraid to ask questions because they don't want to look like a dumbass.
Yeah.
Or they don't know what questions to ask.
Right.
And then you've got the issue of a language barrier, which we have translators, but the language barrier and then the culture barrier.
So here I'm asking because this is kind of tagged on to that question, and it's also from being a parent who has been in that chair and was in that chair for many years, even though, I've got a degree, I'm, educated professional. I was a project manager for, 25 some odd years. My degree is in communications. And so even me, I would sit there and go, holy shit, I have no idea what is going on here. And you just read and read and read and read. I still wasn't sure. But one of the things that I always thought about was like, are there entities, resources out there who are people who help become that middleman, that agent for the parents and for the kid and like for the educator, so that they're kind of helping to translate all that? Is there such a thing? And if not, wow, would that be helpful?
It would be
Like a
helpful.
like a CASA volunteer,
Right.
only for in special ed kid situations.
So your biggest person would be your special ed teacher. One, that's where you would start off from the school side.
Yeah, but you guys are already overloaded.
Right.
So,
but that's what they always say.
I wouldn't want to
if
put
you
that
have
burden
questions,
on y'all.
you can always ask your teacher. Ask the teacher, and
Yeah.
they'll get back to us.
Yeah.
Well, then if I can't find the answer, I'll ask one of my other coworkers, and if they don't know the answer, and I'm really struggling, then our school district has a co-op, and our co-op is for our whole county in our area. So several schools. We have a special ed director. So sometimes if I don't know the answer, I'll go to her. And if they don't know the answer, then they look it up. But a lot of times you have to find an advocate to help you with these things.
Yeah.
And advocates cost money.
Well, and
an advocate could be your neighbor or your mom.
And we actually looked into it, and the only thing we could find is that there are attorneys who you can hire to go along with you. But we never really looked into it because, yeah, it costs money. And, anywhere I looked, it was a service you had to sign up for, and you had to be poor. You had to be economically challenged to be able to receive a service of getting a volunteer who is knowledgeable in the lingo, in the process, and all the paperwork you got to file, and going and being an advocate with the parents and the kid at the meeting to help kind of translate and make that smoother, because it takes the burden off the parents and kid and off the educator.
Correct.
But there's not that system out there, and that killed us all along the way.
So every year our co-op usually holds a transition fair. We did not have one this year because we didn't have a transition person. They just hired one for the co-op. So unfortunately we didn't have a transition fair to help parents. At the transition fair, they have all these organizations that come, and parents can go around, like MHMR or things like that. What's out there after school?
Yeah.
Like when the kid ages out of school at 21 years old. And a lot of times, unfortunately, there are waiting lists, and these waiting lists are 10, 15, 20 years long. So every time we get new students that qualify, I make sure to tell them, hey, you need to go down to the MHMR office, tell them that your child has qualified for this, this, and this, and ask them what resources are available out there so that you can get put on waiting lists. Now, your child may not need that resource right now at the age of 3, but you need to be on that waiting list. So when they become of 18 and 21, they'll be at the top of the waiting list and not having to wait
to kind of walk into years. Like continuing that hand holding or that help along the way, or that advocacy. We had talked about testing before, and kids need to get tested in order to qualify for help, for Correct. These resources that are out there. We didn't really know about my son. We knew there was some issues, but we didn't really know until we finally just took him to a therapist. And then the therapist said, oh, well, you probably need to go have him tested, and da-da-da. So we didn't even get any of that from the school. They were just saying, your kid is bad.
Right.
And so not everybody has, a guru, a teacher with, the special education credentials and experience to be able to say, we need to sit down because there's some things going on. They just want to talk about behavior. So when you get these kids, they're already either tested or they've already come in. Do you know anything about the other side of this system where the kids are a little bit older, 2nd, 3rd grade, and they slip through the cracks or they miss the system?
So
do they come to you? What do they do?
Okay, so when children are that age, so my daughter, I had her tested. I wanted to get her tested in 3rd grade for dyslexia, but then COVID happened while she was in 3rd grade, so then I had to wait until she was in 4th grade. And I knew there was a problem because no, she's fine. She's a great reader. Well, she was using all the skills that she has learned to get by.
Yeah.
And so I had her tested, and she met all 3 criteria for dyslexia. So when they're tested for special ed at 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade, there's a process, a tier process, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. You're to get the kids at. You look at, you're pulling small group, you're pulling beginning of the year, middle of the year, end of the year testing, and looking at their scores. All right, are they making any progress? How much progress are they making? Are they not making any progress? And then if you go that route, it could take a half a school year, all school year,
Yeah.
for the teachers to request testing. Now, some teachers just know there's something wrong. We need to get them tested.
Yeah. Especially if they've been out there for a while and they're experienced.
Correct. But we still have to go, the teachers still have to go through this RTI process.
Yeah.
Interventions. Okay, what are you doing? What is not working? Well, let's try this. Well, this is still not working. Well, let's try this.
Yeah.
After you've done everything and tried everything, all right, well, I think it's time to get them tested.
Yeah.
The fastest way to get a child tested is and this is sad, if a parent directly calls our special education office and request testing.
Mm-hmm. And then the school district does it?
And then the co-op does it, and they have 45 school days.
Okay.
To get it done when the parent requests it.
Huh.
Now that 45 school days, depending on when the parent requested,
it could be the end of the school year.
Correct, because if there's breaks and holidays.
Yeah. So it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah. Okay. So that really drags out.
They have 45 school days. Yes, it could really drag out. It could be 3 months, depending on when you request it in the holidays.
Well, now we've gone through 2 of those in Austin, at Austin ISD. When after we had him, my son was on is it a 504? Mm-hmm. 504, which is, it's like, we're on the edge of it. There's some kind of things going on here. Let's get some accommodations and see if those help.
Yeah.
Those didn't help. So we had to go to the next step and go through the special ed thing. Now, in the meantime, we had him evaluated by a medical doctor and a psychology group that specialized in that. And so we went through and we got this list of things this long with all of the OCD and ODD and all the acronyms and on the spectrum.
Did your school district accept those?
Well, they did, but they said we have to do our own too.
Correct.
They had to do their own. So then they assigned a psychologist to do his. Now this was when he was in the 3rd grade. So they took what all of those crazy tests that my son took, that was, a stack of papers this thick. It's, half inch thick of all the different, I can't even remember the names of the tests that they went through to come to the conclusions. So he basically took all of that. So he already he had that information. And to me, I wonder if it skews their thing, or if they're scientists, they're psychologists, they know, good, we're halfway there, and they do their own tests. And if it matches up or whatever. So there was a long process, and it took pretty much all of 3rd grade to go through that process. So I hear what you're saying.
Yes. So school districts, even though if you come in with a medical diagnosis from a doctor, they still have to do their own testing.
Okay.
The only testing that they do not have to do for is ADHD or ADD. That has to be a medical diagnosis.
Yeah.
Anything else that isn't that, let's say you go to your pediatrician and they said, oh, well, your child's on the spectrum, autism spectrum. Okay, you bring that paperwork to school. The school has to do their own testing.
Yeah. Wow. What would you say to a parent who's facing something like this all of a sudden? Like what I've gone through, we pretty much had to self-educate all along the way, and I feel like I only touched the surface. So if there's some advice you would give a parent who's like, okay, something's going on with my child, what are those steps? And I'm asking you this because there is nothing out there in the world that says, here are the instructions if you've got something going on with your child, and you may or may not have a good school district. You may not even have, good teachers. Like I would say the parents that have you and your team probably have lucked out. We did not have that luxury to have that level of something. We should have just I don't know, sent him over to you.
So
but
I would say, first of all, you've got to find somebody who you can talk to and confide in, whether it be a friend, your spouse. Secondly, you need, for the state of Texas, we have TEA agency. You need to get on TEA website and look up your rights as a parent. Look up your rights as what your special ed child has. What is the process of getting your child tested?
Yeah.
You need to contact your administration, not your principal, but the school administration. Contact the counselor at the school. And I cannot say this enough. Every time you contact somebody or talk to somebody, you need to document who you spoke with, what you talked about, what questions you asked, what their response was. Because if you don't document it, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Document.
Are there a lot of folks out there who are educators who are in the special ed educator program, who are teaching kids or being advocates, or they're case managers or whatever, who have no credentials in or have no learning in that area?
Yes.
Okay.
And I can talk freely about this since I didn't give any of my personal information.
Yep.
So our campus, we've had 2 life skill classes. Mine, which is 3 to 6 year olds, and then the other life skill classes, which is 6 to 10 year olds. So basically 1st through 5th grade, all in one class. Mm-hmm. That's a big age gap. Our class sizes are like 15, 16 kids.
Is that a lot, or is
that
a normal?
That is a lot. Just in the past few years, we've gotten that many kids. But the problem is too, is that we have 3 elementary campuses. And 2 of our campuses house life skills and early childhood special education classrooms, but our other campus that's in town does not. So we have all their kids. So half of our classroom, their students, are coming from that, our zone for that elementary school.
Yeah.
So we have pushed for them to hire another life skills teacher to split the grade up. So it'll be first and 2nd graders. So 2 grade levels. Well, for whatever reason, we interviewed 2 people. The first, and I always sit on the interviews because I'm team lead and have been team lead for the past 6-7 years. So I have a say-so in who we hire. Just because I'm not going to hand my kids off, who I've had 3 and 4 years, and put my blood
and ruin your work,
and ruin all the hard work
I
put into these kids. Well, the first person within 2 minutes, I knew, oh my God. And I told my principal at the time, I said, nope, no way. Do not hire her. I will rather fight my 16 kids and work hard and bust my butt every day than hire her.
Yeah.
Well, then nobody else interviewed until probably late July. And myself and the other life skills teacher both sat on the interview. And I shouldn't, part of me knew something wasn't right with this lady. She had interviewed at 2 other of our campuses in our district, and they didn't hire her. She has supposedly 5 years experience. She worked in this behavioral program. She dealt with all kinds of behaviors. She had a story for everything, an example for everything. She talked a good game during her interview. I was up in the air about hiring her. The other teacher said, if you say yes, I'll say yes. If you say no, I'll say no. So basically she was saying, you know more about this. You are my mentor teacher.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go with what you say.
Yeah.
So I said, well, let's give her a try. Okay, give her a try. Well, when we went back for in-service when school started, before school started in August, she didn't have her room ready. She didn't have it ready for Meet the Teacher night. The parents walked in there to nothing. I volunteered my time to set her room up, set up her visual schedules, basically to do everything for her so she would be ready. I got this. I know how to do this. Okay, that's fine. Long story short, I've had to help write a growth plan for her. And she has made no progress on her growth plan. She has already been written up 3 to 4 times on her growth plan because she has not improved on the things on her growth plan that we wrote. She's supposed to turn in data to me, behavior data, every week, and then the IEP data every 2 weeks. She does not do that consistently. She doesn't take data on kids, on all the kids.
So you think she didn't have the credentials, or she was just trying to get a job and made it up, or?
I think what she came from a previous school district, and I think that she co-taught with somebody, and she was an aide at first in the classroom.
Okay.
And then she co-taught with somebody, and that person just did everything. I also think that she has a lot of baggage from her own personal life that she deals with.
Yeah.
And mental issues, mental health. It's yeah.
So it's basically you're taking someone who knows how to fix a TV and putting them in there to like work on Ferraris. Like there's just no there's no concept of what she's getting into.
About a month into school, I went in there and I just took over her room and I said, all right, I'm setting up your classroom how it needs to be set up. Wow. Did it while she was getting a walkthrough. I mean, what else can you do?
Is there a lack of people who either want to do this for a living or who do this for a living? Is there a lack of teachers, educators who either want to do this and will continue trying to learn how, or who are, certified and have all the credentials in special ed? Is there a lack of this? And I can understand why there would be. It's hard work. I hear your stories all the time.
So I have been at the same school in the same school district for the past 15 years. There are only like 5 or 6 of us left who I started teaching with, who have been there as long as I have been.
Did they leave or did they burn out? Both.
Both. When we get new principals, everybody gets scared, so they go and look for other jobs elsewhere.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Or they just get burned out and they can't do it anymore.
I mean, I've seen you. I've seen the work you've done since you started this whole thing. And I'm here to say it takes a very special, a very unique individual with some tenacity and understanding and intelligence to be able to navigate what you do as a teacher of kids with disabilities, and the array of what you see and all the different kinds of ways you have to approach each kid. This is harder work than I am sure than just regular old teaching, right. 25 kids in a classroom. It's a lot. It's got to be a lot harder.
It is.
And more work, as we're sitting here and you were up till 1 a.m. working.
Yes, I was up till 1 a.m. working on an ARD and lesson plans for my writing. And then went to school this morning for 2 hours to print everything and make sure everything ready. But I wouldn't say, yes, special ed is hard work, but I think also being a teacher in general is hard work.
Yeah.
Well,
these days, for sure.
There's a shortage of teachers. You're putting 25, 27 kids in a classroom, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds. because there's no funding to hire another teacher to make the grade levels, the classroom smaller.
Yeah.
Our teachers, luckily, I don't have to. During our conference time, our teachers are in meetings every single day. They may have 1 day of planning period with their team, and that's it. The other times, the district has hired these big know-it-alls to come in and say, well, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to do it. And another issue is they change our curriculum every year. Instead of using the same curriculum to build on, or teachers actually know how to use it.
Yeah.
Once you get the hang of it, by the second year, they're like, oh, we found something better. This is better. So they're spending millions of dollars on new curriculum, and teachers have to learn how to do the new curriculum all over again.
So bureaucrats who are not on the front lines, not in the classrooms, are probably these decision makers, and they're not involving you guys. They're not involving teachers and special educators in that process by saying, hey, will this work? Will this work? You don't even get a say in it. It just, here you go. Here's the new thing, the new plan.
Correct.
Well,
and this is what you have to teach. It's not like it was when I was in school or you were in school, when teachers taught like themes or units, a dinosaur unit or things like that. And pre-K and kindergarten were a lot of play-based and social skills.
Mm-hmm.
No, there's nothing. There's nothing like that. And that's why, in my opinion, you're seeing all these kids with mental health issues and behavior issues is because they're being pushed to do things that their minds and bodies are not developmental ready.
Yeah. So, I could agree with that wholly. I'm 62 years old, so I grew up like basically in the mid to late 60s in the education system then. Well, first of all, there was no such thing as, there was nothing known at that time by myself, my peers, probably by my teachers, and certainly by my parents about autism or dyslexia or any of those, the long list of learning disabilities and acronyms and things like that. But you also didn't see the behavior either.
Mm-hmm.
So there's something that has majorly shifted in kids in the last 30 to 40 years, like from when you were a kid. Like, this was not prevalent. I know there had to have been kids that were special ed. That was in the day that they just put them all in a classroom and just shoved them all in there, and we didn't get to see them.
And most of those time, those kids weren't, maybe they were behavior problems, or it's because they were what the term used to be mental retardation, but now it's intellectual disability. Their IQ is a 70 or below 70.
Right.
So it wasn't like they were truly, I don't say truly disabled, but it wasn't the autism or other things that
everything that's on the list these days. I don't know what it is. Is it processed food? Is it the environment? Is it the internet? Is it video games and screens? Is it just the way our culture has, evolved and developed, where we've got more and more and more of these kids all the time? The labels are just being thrown around and they're out there.
I think a lot of it has to do with the environment, the type of environment you live in, where you live at, the food, and also genetics plays a big role in it too.
Yeah.
But genetics, it also depends what you're taking in your body, environmentally.
Yeah. Well, you've recently, gone through some testing and some things with your own kids, and you've decided to eliminate red dye.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've eliminated red dye, yellow dye, blue dye back in September for our third child, our second son. He was medically diagnosed with ADHD, and I will tell you, it has improved a lot of his behavior issues.
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't cured all of them. We haven't gone the medication route yet.
Yeah.
But there are occasions when we do let them have the dye, like at birthday parties, or if we go to the movies, or when we went camping in the fall, we took them to an ice cream parlor and they got like M&Ms and stuff on their ice cream. And within 30 minutes of being back at our campsite, they were bouncing off the damn walls.
Yeah. So there's, it's chemicals, processed food. Now on the genetic side, I can tell you, my mom, grandma, and you knew her before her dementia
Right.
took place. This woman is ADHD. I mean, you can tell she not H as much, but
Right.
like all over the place, all over the
Right.
place. Well, my brother and I are kind of the same way. And I was in therapy in my late 20s, early 30s, gosh, 12, 13 years because of some shitty crap that happened in my childhood. But in therapy is when I had a psychologist say, hey, have you ever been diagnosed of being on the spectrum or ADHD? And I didn't even know what the hell he was talking about.
Right.
And so, he was like, why don't we test you? And we tested me and whatever. And he said, you probably could be on the spectrum or probably are on the spectrum, but in a very like on this end,
Right.
not this end. So as I've gotten older and I'm constantly educating myself, I constantly want to know about things, but so does my brother. I mean, you
Right.
know that kind of
Right.
way and like that constantly kind of behavior and digging into stuff. And I fully feel like that it's genetics, that there's a genetic factor there that somehow has just come down the line of our family
Right.
that maybe is here as well. But it wasn't until I was in my 40s and had a child of my own who has learning disabilities and who has some of the acronyms and has been said that he is on the spectrum. Now, we never ran him through that route, and we've never
Right.
had that label put on him because we were scared of it.
Right.
Well, there's more and more and more, research and information and people, medical coming out with articles that are shedding more insight on, all of these disabilities and all of the things. So the more and more I hear about this and read things on behalf of my son, I'm looking at myself going, well, shit, I get it.
I get
And,
it.
and the more I read those and hear this information, I'm more in tune with, oh my God, what he must be going through. But that's the thing. Parents, like you said earlier, parents have got to educate themselves. We can't just sit here and go, here's my kid, go babysit him all day long.
Right.
We've done everything we possibly can to bring him along and to help him or whatever. Some things you can't help. Some things are just permanent, like, brain damage. Like he's
Right.
got some brain damage from in utero. So the thing that I would say to parents is, whatever you've got, be involved in your kids' education. Be involved in the advocacy if there are special needs there.
Yeah, because you are your child's biggest voice.
Yeah.
Teachers, we can only do so much and only can say so much and only can push for so much.
Yeah.
But as parents, you have more rights.
Yeah. I just wonder what can be done to get more educators to be interested in this topic and interested in serving. And to me, it's service. It's above and beyond just educating. And I think anybody who wants to go out there and get a degree and be educators of our children, God bless you for doing that. But there's more that you have to do for what.
If you want to be a teacher, you need to be in it for the kids
Mm-hmm.
and nothing else.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're going to get burned out, and you need to know how to separate yourself from work and not take it home. Average during the week, I probably bring home work 3 days a week. I could bring it home every night.
Yeah.
I don't start working on my stuff until my kids are in bed, so it doesn't interfere with their stuff. So it's probably 9 o'clock before I start working on my stuff that I brought home, and then I'm up till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Do you ever get enough sleep?
My average of sleep when I'm at work during the work week is probably about 4 to 5 hours a night.
So how long do you think you can sustain this? In the current state,
my current classroom,
if something miraculous and Jesus comes down from heaven and then says, let's fix the education system, and it's automatically gets changed.
Right.
Versus how it is now.
I mean, this is my 15th year. I've already put in a lot of years. In my current classroom, let's see, I will be 42 this summer. Just this past 2 years, I can tell the toll that it's taken on my body.
Yeah.
Just because I'm older. And I've had more kids, and
well, and they can get physical with you.
They are physical. I have them throw stuff at me. I have them urinate on me. I have them spit at me, pinching me, biting me, headbutting me in my chest. Yeah, runners. So I have to run after them. It's a lot of work. When I come home, I decompress in my driveway in my car for at least 30 minutes before I can walk into the house, just sitting in the silence.
That's
because I mean it's I'm
literally silence, like you're not on your phone. You basically just like
sitting there,
and they know not to bug you, not to come out.
And Brian has finally figured out I'm just gonna leave her alone, and she'll come in when she's ready. And
yeah,
it's I'm overloaded, like sensory overload.
So if someone could magically just say, okay, what top 3 things do you need, and we'll get you that, what would those three things be? Or is it only 3 things? Can we stop at 3, or do you think it's going to be so
right
much
now
more?
I need another person in my room, another staff member in my room.
Okay.
I have 10 students right now. Typically, there's not really a ratio in the state of Texas. It's based off the need. Typically, you want 4 to 1, so 4 students to 1 adult. So it's myself and 2 aides right now. So ratio-wise, we're good. But the need of my kids this year, because I have so many 3 and 4-year-olds who mentally are 1 and 2-year-olds and have to be taught everything, and I have 4 of them who have to have constant supervision and have to be holding our hands throughout the entire school day in our classroom. I need an extra pair of eyes and hands.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like Lord of the Flies based on some of the stories that you've told me. And knowing my own son and some of the things that he went through, if there was a classroom of kiddos. Now, we didn't have him diagnosed until he was 3rd, 4th grade. And then from then on, he was integrated into the rest of the school. You know, he was in class and then had help when he needed it. So, you know, what you're doing, it sounds like, is getting those kids set up to follow whatever protocols they're capable of,
right,
and getting those life skills, those core skills embedded in them, so that it makes it easier for them to move along the education system,
right,
until
so
graduation.
In my 10 years of being in ECSE, early childhood special education, out of those 10 years, there has been 5 to 6 students that I have pushed out of my classroom and now are in general ed, full time. Some because they didn't qualify anymore academically. Some because they're high functioning and they just need a little amount of support and not full support. Just recently, one of my students is being retested. When I got her last year around this time, her IQ was a 61, and now it's to an 83.
Dang.
So within a year.
Just from working with her, just daily, every week, just working with her.
And pushing her.
Yeah.
Because I always push my kids.
Yeah.
Even more than what they can do and what they know they're capable of doing.
Yeah.
And when I get new students, it takes me about 3 to 4 weeks to get them in a routine, to teach them our routine consistently. But that disrupts our whole classroom, believe it or not, because it disrupts our other students, because we're having to put all this extra time and energy into these new students and teaching them. And so these other students are seeing this, and they want to start acting up.
Oh, yeah.
To get our attention. And yeah.
Tell me about your toughest day doing this.
My toughest day, I would have to say, when we're shorthanded. And when I say I'm shorthanded, it's me and one other aide.
Yeah.
With 10, 15 kids.
Yeah.
Because we can't get a sub for our classroom. I'm lucky to get a sub for my classroom.
Yeah.
Many people don't want to sub in our classroom. One, they're afraid of the kids.
Yeah.
Two, they come in there and they think they're just going to sit there and not do anything. Well, that's not the case in my classroom. Like, you're going to do.
It's not substitute
Yeah.
teacher in the 5th grade.
And so then I don't get my conference. My teacher assistant and I don't get a lunch break. We're lucky to take the 2 minutes to use the restroom, and luckily we have 2 restrooms in our classroom that we can use. So it's going in the nonstop from 7:15 in the morning to 3:21 in the afternoon, and then we still have to put the room back together. Like Friday, before we were off for winter break, one of my aides had to leave early because she got sick because her blood pressure skyrocketed
from
our
job.
classroom, from our job, and she was sent home by the nurse. So it was me and my other aide, and after everything, all the kids were put on the bus or in their dismissal, we had to put the room back together to prep it for when we come back to school, and we were probably there till 5 o'clock.
So this is not for sissies.
No, it's not. You have to be determined. You have to want it. You have to love kids. You have to have a good work ethic.
Yeah.
Because you're working nonstop.
Yeah, you can't be a slacker. I can imagine no slacking in this whatsoever.
Even during the summertime, people think that, oh, you're getting paid to be off all summer. No, because my contract is for 10 months, but they spread it out over a 12-month period.
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not being paid for the summertime.
It's my personal budget that I have to do this for.
Right.
Yeah.
And no, I'm not off because over the summertime, we have to do certain professional development online that's state required.
Oh, okay.
And so we're trying to get that done. A lot of teachers are going to conferences. One summer I went to 2 conferences. I was gone for 3 nights and I came home for a day and a half and went to San Antonio for 3 more nights.
Oh gosh. So it's a commitment. It's if there was a bigger word for commitment, it would be that word, it sounds like. So in your 10 years, tell me about like the one kid that stands out that and there may be one where, you had them at 3, 4, 5 and they're 12, 13, 14. Like, is there one kid that really stands out for you that you're like, I am the one, and you give yourself congratulations for doing that. I'm the one that got that kid there, and that's why this kid is successful, 10 years later or 8 years later.
I wouldn't say there's one kid in particular. There's several kids.
Have they come back and said,
oh, I have
hi,
one.
miss?
I have one who is, her birthday was in December. She turned 20.
Wow.
When I had her, she got leukemia. That was hard. But she calls me or texts me 2 or 3 times a week, just to say hey or see what I'm doing. So, and a lot of my kids do come back. I've had them for 3 or 4 years, and a lot of them were behavior problems, believe it or not. And I had to break them down, and they broke me down. But they always come back, even though I was so hard on them and drilled constantly into them and didn't give up. Yeah, they always come back and want to stay with me. Yeah, I have one girl. Her parents are older. They've actually adopted her and her sister. They were the mom's brother's kids. They got taken away. So it's her nieces basically that she's adopted and raising. They all have, her and her husband have older kids from previous marriages, but they have made me and my husband their guardians.
Wow.
So if something happens to them, instead of them going to their
family,
they're coming to us.
Yeah. Wow. So do you get that satisfaction, whether it be overt and big and congratulatory, from that you would like to get, or is it all internal, or is it a mixture of both? Do you get where someone comes up and says, "Oh my God, thank you for doing this with my kid"?
I've had one parent, her son was on the spectrum, and she actually has 4 kids, and 2 of them are on the spectrum, and I've had both of them,
Boy.
and they're back to back.
Yeah.
I potty trained him.
Yeah.
I brought mom into the classroom and snuck her in while he was going to the restroom, and I had her stand outside the restroom, and he didn't know she was there, and she peeked in and watched him, and she was just like in tears because she never believed that he would be able to do that.
That's unreal. I can't even imagine in that situation. And you and I both are sitting here tearing up just hearing that. And just something so basic, but like, what is missing that these things continue to happen, and why they're coming to you like this? There's so many variables that I think we'll never know as to where these kids are coming from, and what has happened, and where this took place in their little bodies and their little brains. So doing something like that, that's a miracle for that parent.
And this mom, I will say, this mom, I have never seen her get frustrated. I'm sure she has and does at home. She's a stay-at-home mom. Her husband works. So I can only imagine what it's like during the summertime or during breaks when she's has them constantly. She is a very good mom.
Yeah.
And I can say that honestly, wholeheartedly. Everything that I have suggested for her to do at home, I've made her visuals, schedules. She has done them and still continues to do them for her kids. Because she wants what's best for her kids. Now I've got other parents who could give 2 shits.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, it's about educating yourself, and it's about that commitment. Now, you're doing that and you're getting paid, but I know for a fact that's something that comes just as part of who you are as a person. And not everybody is cut out to be parents.
Nope.
And unfortunately, that's the situation.
Right.
And there's a lot of kiddos out there who they're being brought up and getting into the system they were not given a good start.
Right. And these kids, I will say, kids that we deal with at our school, whether they're general ed kids, special ed kids, it doesn't matter. They're kids.
Yeah.
But these kids are going through things and seeing things that no kid should have to deal with.
Yeah.
I never saw it or dealt with it when I was a child.
Yeah.
I can't imagine, like, they're going home not knowing, is my electricity going to be on today? Is my mom going to be there? Is my dad going to be there?
Am I going to have somewhere to sleep?
Am I going to have to watch my siblings? Am I going to have to get them up for school?
Yeah.
Am I going to have something to eat?
Well, you have shed light on so much today. And having known you all these years, I've heard the stories, and I'm still there's never a dull moment. There's never a new story, or there's never a story that's not new to me that I'm like, oh my God, what you go through and what all the other, educators like yourself are going through to make a difference in these kids' lives. And I'm here to tell you, you probably are one of the best ones out there. Now, I've got a job for you when you decide to retire from this.
Which will be a very long time, still probably another 15 years before I can retire.
But, your level of knowledge and education and experience, I think that advocacy would be your next road if you wanted to continue it.
My dream job is I would like to go into these classrooms, these special ed classrooms, and set up their classrooms for them correctly.
What you're talking about is basically those bureaucrats that don't ever go into the classroom.
Right.
That's what they should be
Teach
doing.
them how to use a visual schedule. Teach them why the importance of it, how to deal with behavior, what strategies to use, offer support, make materials. And I can say that's one thing that any teacher would like to have is somebody to volunteer just to cut out laminate or come in and read to their class.
I think what you're doing here is shedding a lot of light on this whole topic that, like I said, you know, we could probably sit here for hours and hours and talk about stuff, but shedding that light and making it something that is out there that people have more knowledge about, that they're not scared of those kids so they won't come help. Just education in general about this kind of, you know, teaching of a kid and raising of a kid who has special needs is a huge difference. And I think doing that, doing this as your job, and maybe your next, you know, your next iteration is probably going to be that. We need it now, though.
Yeah.
We need that now. It's coming at us faster and faster and faster, and it's more prevalent, and there's a lot more going on
there are probably 2 other 3-year-olds right now who are going to be tested soon and will more than likely probably qualify for my classroom. So I could be getting them after spring break. So that gives me like
a month
to work with them.
Yeah.
I mean, which is good, but I'm still going to have to start over in the summer when we start school.
And what would it take? Like, what would it take to make such a big change in the school system? Is it sitting and or standing and speaking before the state legislature? Is it the Department of Education that they're talking about getting rid of it, but maybe it just needs an overhaul? Is it
all the above?
Is it an entire level of just knowledge and education on and stories, everything that you've told me about today?
All the above. Right now, people calling state representatives to not vote for this voucher that's going on in Texas.
You think that's going to be terrible?
Oh, if it gets
like
passed,
tenfold for you.
It's going to be terrible for everybody. One, you're taking money away from public schools, which means our class sizes are probably going to be even bigger next school year, which means we're going to be dealing with more behavior problems. There's going to be lack of funding. Teachers may not get a pay raise.
Yeah, probably.
You're taking money away.
So the fallout is there's big things, and there's probably stuff we don't even know is going to happen with this legislation.
It can affect the maintenance on our schools. Changing the damn light bulb.
Yeah.
That in itself is like pulling teeth, getting them to do.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, I think that's the theme of what we're talking about here, is shedding light on it so people are informed and educated about how this whole system works, about what the day is for these kids, for you educators, and what needs to be done. Like if this is a trend and it's going to continue, that there's totally new and different brains coming into the world that need, you know, unique help, then it's time to overhaul the whole thing. But we've got to all get educated. We all have to understand what's going on and hear these stories. So I thank you for sharing your story today. All right. And so we've been talking to a special ed guru today, and you've been listening to Fyre Wimmen. Thanks for joining.